Okay, so when I cut the headstock shape out, I made a mistake. I angled it. It needs to be square according to history. So this is me going to try not to completely destroy this thing, but I need to bring this side down a bit to flush, to be square with this. So I'm going to try to do it as gradually as I dare and try to end up with a workable square across the top headstock. And hopefully I don't totally destroy this shape that I have established here. So the microplane is doing a fabulous job on the end grain task here, but there's going to be a point where I'm going to need to rasp, especially up in these peaks. There, that has been remedied, I can say. That looks pretty decent. Yeah. Pretty good, I'd say. Looks all right to me. Might get that just a tiny bit. Might get that just a little bit sharper. See if I can crispen that up just a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to call that complete. Pretty good, I think. Yeah, looks all right. Huh? I think it looks all right. Okay, so I think we're ready to reattempt this binding thing one more time. I think I know the solvent, or not the solvent. I think I have an idea of what I need to do to make sure it comes out okay this time. More glue, better tape. And then I may still throw all the rubber bands around on it too. We'll see about that. Yeah, so that's where we are. We're gonna see if I can't make this work this time. Looks like we're gonna be okay. We'll find out, I guess. This is the scariest part. Can't decide if I want to put gloves on or not, because I think if I end up with glue on my hands, I want to be able to wipe it off. I want to be able to know it's there, and I want to be able to get it wiped off. So I think I'll just, they say do small sections, and I'll use more glue this time. Here we go. No turning back now. Just doing it. Alright, it's been about an hour and a half, about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, somewhere in there. Just trim the excess off of this end and this end. Leaving it just a tiny bit long, just in case, but it's been in there for a while. And I think I'm going to have a few gaps, but it won't be... It doesn't look like I have reason to worry too much about it being terrible. I think it's going to be reasonably okay. I think I'm going to take the rubber bands off now and work on that. Yeah, this stuff's on pretty good. This was decent. This one was a decent one. I think I'd like to flush it up before I go after the other side, just to be safe that it's not too dinged up or easily messed up. So cool. So there's the backside's binding. Now it's just a matter of flushing it up. Oh, and it cuts so easy. Compared to the wood, it cuts super easy. Alright, so now we'll just start flushing it up. I would say this first shot, first re-shot, I guess is the right term, I would say was 99% successful. I could almost say 100%. There's a few areas where, let me see if I can't get you a shot of this. There's a few areas here, here, a little bit here. Very little. There are very tiny spots where, and you see the, I don't know if the focus is very good, but right in here, a little gap. It's very minor. There's a little gap right in here, in this vicinity, but it's super minor gaps. And yeah, I'm going to say this was a 99.999. I'm going to go, you know what, screw it. It's 100% successful. The only thing I'm going to do for those gaps is I've saved some of the shavings from scraping this down, scraping it flush. And I'm just going to mix it with some acetone and make a mush, a goopy mush that I'm going to shove down inside of these gaps to just make them clear. But I'm going to hold off on doing that until I get the sides flushed up too, just in case there are some gaps on that. But I'm going to say way better binding this time around. It's firmly mounted decently, I think. So we're in happy scope. Happy scope? What the fuck is a happy scope? Oh, I'm happy I see things. No. We're in a happy place, as you can tell. Things are good with that. I'm happy with that outcome. Very nice. So I'll bring you back when I am ready to do the next step. Okay, so we're going to do the front side. As soon as I make sure I've evacuated as much of the glue as necessary here. Make sure my rabbit is clear. Or as Phil will say, my rebate. Make sure my rebate is clear. That was for Phil. Yes, quite white. It is clear. Yeah, I will butcher that if I keep trying. Okay, this is it. This is it. Remember that song? This is it from Valerie Bertinelli was in the show from One Day at a Time. It's like a twangy sort of, I don't know, an interesting song. All right, we are pretty much committed now. Not committed yet, but about to be. Are we ready? As ready as I'm gonna be. Let's put down a little of this here glue. Alright, so now the front's done. We've got it flushed up on the front edge. We still have to do the sides, but it's coming out really well. The only real bad gaps at this point, and they're not even that bad, is right in this little area here, where I would expect them to be. Just in these little tighter bend areas that were tricky to get really flush, but we can fill those. The front came out better than the back did, which is great. So the next thing I'm going to do is get it flushed up on these sides here, get rid of all this glue squeeze out and stuff. So we got to move stuff around here and get you in the vise, and we'll bring you back. Okay, so now I've got it very loosely clamped in the vise. It's very, very loose. It would move around if I let it. With some router mat to kind of keep from dinging things up, and we're just taking a scraper to the sides. Yeah, just taking a scraper to the sides to get them flush with the wood. And get all that extra glue out of there. It's a bad view at the moment, but it's going to become better here shortly. Alright, so we've got our binding shavings and some acetone. I'm going to make a little paste of filler here. I just put a little tiny splash of acetone in it here. I don't think I'm going to need a ton of it. I think that'll be plenty. And just take some of the shavings and stick them on in there to dissolve. Look at it, it's dissolving. I don't know if you can see it, but it's pulling them down in. So, start here. This in there and stir a bit. I've already got some paste happening down in the bottom there. Yeah, this is pasting up rather quickly. This is good. It reduces fast, which is perfect. Now, I've got to find my favorite spot to start at here. This right here looks like a good candidate. So now that that's drying, I'll bring you back when that's done. Alright, we are now ready for cleaning up that filled up binding. And I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see what it is I'm actually doing here. But let's get you in on that zone. See all the pudding there? Looks like vanilla pudding. I'm just scraping flush so that it's not in the wood anymore. And then I'm going to come back with some sandpaper as well. To make sure we clear all of it. One bound body. Looks good.